I was worked on a farm when I was 16, right next door, and I wanted to get off the farm, and all our young people at our church were joining up services. All my friends joined up, about 7 men, 7 boys and men. And I was 17 when I went in September of 42.
You're 17 years old?
17.
Was that old enough?
Yeah. They sent me to Rhode Island for my boot camp.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, now where were you? Where was the farm you were living on? That in?
That was in Burlington, Massachusetts.
Okay, you're in Burlington, Massachusetts.
Yeah.
So you joined at 17. They sent you to Rhode Island
For my boot
for
camp.
your boot camp. Okay.
And then they said, well, they wanted to put me on a submarine, but my bite wasn't right. You know, my teeth wasn't overlapping, like for the pressure of the.
Okay.
So they sent me off to gunnery school down in Virginia, and they put me on a landing craft in Virginia, and we did a lot of practicing there. The crew, I was a gunner's mate, and I had to clean all the guns and keep the ammo, all the cylinders ready for
Okay.
action.
So they put you on a landing craft. You're
Yeah.
a gunner's mate,
Yes.
and you're in Virginia,
Yeah.
and you're just
gunnery
training
school.
in gunnery school.
Yeah.
Okay. How long was that?
That was probably about a month.
Okay.
And then they sent us to New York, and they assigned me to this is an LCT,
Okay.
landing craft tank.
Okay.
And they had 14 is the crew,
Okay.
in the crew.
Okay. On the smaller.
On the
this.
small one.
Okay.
This larger one was 350 feet, and I had 150 crewmate
Okay.
crew on this.
Okay.
And we
So it sent you to New York.
sent to New York, we got on board this, and this happened to be a British crew.
Okay.
The United States gave these ships to the British
Okay.
for, for the landing, for
Right.
their war effort.
Okay.
And then we took from New York, we went to Bermuda,
Okay.
and it took us 7 days to get to Bermuda.
Okay.
From there, on the convoy, along the coast, we pick up more ships, and then at Bermuda, we refuel, and then we headed out to Africa,
Okay.
went to Gibraltar,
Okay.
went through Gibraltar, anchored there for a while. And they were trying to avoid a lot of submarine action,
Okay.
so we went in to Iran in North Africa, in Morocco, and they unloaded us from this LST to the, we were on our own after that.
Okay.
And then we loaded up the Third Army group that Gene Thompson was in
Okay.
North Africa.
Okay.
And we made 3 landings in North Africa.
Okay. Where were they?
One was in, I forget the first place, but then we ended up in Bizerti
Okay.
and Tunis.
Okay. Was Oran?
Iran. Well, Iran is where we got off the
Okay.
ship.
Okay. Then Bizerti and
Yeah.
Tunis. Okay.
And
Now, what was
They were-
involved in those You say landing. What's that mean? What happened?
well, we were dropping Army men. They were following Rommel, the Desert Fox.
Okay.
At that time, they're fighting against the Germans
Right.
and the Italians that took over North Africa, and
Yeah.
they're trying to drive them out.
Okay.
And they tried to get in back of them. So we made several landings just to get the
Okay.
troops in back of them. Plus the Air Force was doing a job on them.
Okay.
So they forced them back into Sicily.
Okay.
And then we from Tunis, we loaded up and went to Sicily.
Okay.
Palermo, was it Palermo?
Yeah, Palermo.
Palermo.
Yeah.
And then
Okay.
after that, we come up to Salerno
Mm-hmm.
in Italy for a while. And
Okay.
they landed there, and there was a lot of big fighting there and a lot of battleships shooting over your head. And we got lined up, we lined up to go in and land and get in and land fast, get the guys off.
Okay.
Sometimes they got off and sometimes they didn't. So we pulled back out of there and we made several, after one landing, that's not, we made 4 or 5 different landings back to the ship. We get more troops off the big troop ships.
Right. And
And
they're
make
getting on your ship, you're running them in.
back,
Then you're
back
bringing
and forth,
guys up. Okay.
all, as long as it took,
Okay. In the meantime, battleships are shooting over your head.
yes. Plus airplanes, dive bombers and trying to get you.
Okay.
Yeah, sometimes they did, and some of them, they did get a lot of the boats on the beach,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Then we went up to Anzio. We brought a lot of supplies up to Anzio,
Okay.
and then they drove the Germans up past Rome. And so after that, after Anzio, they put us, we went back to Oran
Okay.
and back on the ship again.
Okay.
Then we went up the English coast, up out of Gibraltar
Okay.
and around and up to England
Okay.
and landed in Plymouth up there. Meanwhile, the Germans are harassing us all the way,
Okay.
you know, dive bombing
Yeah.
stuff. So we got there and we did a lot of practicing there for
So you
the
started.
landing on the,
Okay. Did you? Yeah. At that point, you're practicing for D-Day.
yes.
Okay. Now tell us about that. So that was just training for D-Day.
Training, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and the
Okay.
German P-2 boats would come in once in a while and try to whack us,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
And so one day the captain came to me and said that my name was drawn to go home on a leave. They're out of the flotilla. We had
Okay.
about 20 boats on the flotilla,
Okay.
and they shipped me on a train to Liverpool, and I got on the Queen Mary, 10 of us,
Okay.
and went back to New York in 4 days. Imagine that. Have to
Wow.
go and take 30 days to get over there.
Yeah.
So,
So you didn't. So what? So you were preparing for D-Day. Your name came up as for leave. Is
yeah,
that what it was.
it
Okay.
was like a drawing.
Okay. So there was
Yeah.
not very many.
No,
men,
no.
Just a few men.
They tried to, every month, try to get
Okay.
somebody to go home.
Okay. So
We
while
were
you
over
were
there 2 years.
right. Okay. So while you went back, that's when D-Day happened.
Yes, the
Okay.
Lord was in that.
Yeah. Now your ship was directly involved in D-Day?
This ship was sunk in Normandy.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, the ship you would have been on.
yeah, yeah. 14 men were on it. Yeah. So they brought us back to New York, and I had 30-day leave, and I went home, and I did a bad thing. I didn't call my mother and I was coming home. Poor lady. She almost flopped when I came into the house.
Okay.
I drove in, they had a big circular driveway, and
Surprised her.
surprised her. I had a taxi from the train station, the local,
Okay.
and to get out and she almost, she was sad.
Yeah. So she thinks you're in England preparing for
Yes,
D-Day.
yeah.
And
Well,
you,
she really didn't know where
she
I
didn't know
was.
what you were doing.
Know where I was. You couldn't tell.
You could, yeah.
No, if you wrote a letter home and said something bad, they'd cut it out,
Okay.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
So you just walked in the door.
yeah, and
Wow.
she was so surprised.
I bet
Yeah,
she was.
really. Yeah.
Yeah. And that was in Massachusetts.
Yes,
Okay.
Burlington, Mass. Yeah.
Okay.
So that was like on a farm,
right,
way out in the boondocks.
yeah,
really.
I bet she was
Yeah,
surprised.
yeah, she was.
That is great,
She was good, glad to see me.
yeah,
I kept a journal of all the trips and all the things that happened, you know. I kept it in my Bible, and she had it when after the war, and I don't know where it is now, you know.
right.
It had all the different things that
Oh,
happened.
boy, yeah.
I mean, there's a million things that happened to me.
Yeah, yeah, so many
Yeah.
stories, yeah,
And
okay.
so,
So your leave ended,
yeah,
and then they
I had to
sent
go
you
back to New York,
Okay,
Pier 92. Did you ever hear Pier 92?
yeah,
No. First thing they do when you get in there, they give you a bally haircut, you know,
okay.
the captain, you know.
Okay,
Yeah. And while I was waiting for my ship, I was on shore patrol a few nights. And,
okay,
yeah, we used to go out to the restaurants and they give you a sandwich. First thing when we got home, we'd get a BLT and a glass of milk. Couldn't get that overseas.
okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
that's
they
great.
put me on another ship exactly. It was a little different than this. It was
Okay.
more modern, but the
Okay,
same.
yeah, updated,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. And so they went back down from New York down went to Cuba, stayed there for a little while.
okay,
Then we went through the Panama Canal and then up to Guam
okay,
and then we loaded up in Guam with troops. Then we hit Okinawa early in the morning,
okay.
and that was one of the worst of all the landings we made, I think. We had kamikaze planes dive bombing and hitting and stuff.
So you're involved in the invasion of Okinawa?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, okay,
Naha, I think it was Naha
okay,
in Okinawa. And then they had this terrific storm,
typhoon,
typhoon,
okay,
and wiped out all the Army unit camps, flattened them. Took big Liberty ships, put them up high and dry like God put them,
wow,
placed right up there,
Yeah.
high and dry, 100 yards offshore. Big ships, tugboats,
it's amazing.
and they had to blow them up. They couldn't get them off.
Yeah, yeah,
So after that, while the war, then they dropped the atom bomb over in Japan. We were preparing to go to Japan next.
okay.
And
You were still in Guam at that point, well, you'd been invaded Okinawa?
no, we stayed in Okinawa.
Okay, you stayed there, okay,
Yeah. But they made a base there,
right,
and we stayed there. And then they were preparing for a war and invasion of Japan, but they dropped the atom bomb, and that ended it. And so they sent us to Shanghai. Then we came back, and the communists took over the Reds. So
Okay.
we went back home, got on a ship, and went back to the States, went back to San Diego. And
okay.
I got out of the Navy at that time.
Oh, did you?
Yeah,
Okay.
that was 1946. Went back to our church, and the church gave us a big banquet, and
Uh-huh,
that's where I met Laura.
ah, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
and that led to that.
Okay.
So that's the end of the story.